This is Kristin.
And I'm Steve, and you are listening to Cycling Together, a podcast about all things bikes, riding, and riding together.
Spring is here. We're riding bikes outside.
Right, Zwift is a thing of winter's past for us.
We never got back on after our trip.
No.
We came home after having ridden outside for 2 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And the basement's also a disaster. So it just was not worth it.
We got home and we were slugs for a couple weeks.
We took time off.
My Strava fitness score went. Yeah.
But yes, so we're back on the bikes outside, and it's also the time where people will start thinking about maybe joining their first group ride.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought we should talk about that. Maybe
Yeah,
some of
a lot of people haven't done a group ride, or maybe you're thinking about doing a group ride in a different discipline.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But before we get to that,
But first,
what are you going to talk about?
Well, let's bring up the old 32-inch wheel thing again.
Okay.
So
aren't those new? What do you mean the old 32?
We have been talking about this for a year now, and I couldn't believe it when I looked back. And so the Taipei bike show was just recently.
Yes.
And we
yeah.
first talked about it when Maxxis showed off their 32-inch tires a year ago.
Yes.
So since that time, a bunch of bikes have come out with 32-inch wheels. And in the Cape Epic stage race in South Africa, a full suspension 32-inch bike even won a stage. Now, that's a team event, so they won it with his partner.
Were they both on 32-inch?
No,
or just one of them?
Just one of them was. That was by Stoll, which is a Swiss brand.
Okay.
I had actually not heard of that particular brand. It's definitely a European brand. So what I wanted to bring up here is, yes, the industry is marching forward with this 32-inch thing, but there are a lot of challenges here yet to come. So really what I wanted to say was, if you're thinking about a bike or you just recently got a bike, I would not wait around for 32-inch wheels.
Got it. If you just bought a bike, you shouldn't
feel
be
bad.
feeling, you shouldn't have buyer's remorse because you don't have.
Yeah, when 29 came out, it took generations of bikes to get the geometry right. And it's going to be the same thing with 32-inch. And there was just a recent study done. I think this was published in Pink Bike, but a German company did some studies on the wheels. And it is the flex in the wheels is significant, and it can really change the feel of the bike. And there is going to be a lot of more research and development need to be done in the wheels themselves before the bikes even feel right.
A lot of learning to be done.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever see? So before there was 29, there was.
Well, you had 26 originally.
Okay. And
then you had 27 and a half. But 27 and a half and 29 overlapped each other.
Okay.
So they almost sort of were being developed at the same time. And you had 27 and a half plus, we're going to call that, because it was a category.
Yep.
And that generally meant a 2.8 or 3.0 tire.
And do we still sell 27 and a half
Nobody.
bikes?
Really. No, I don't want to say nobody. They exist, but not really.
So the question is, do you see this new size replacing 29ers someday?
I don't, and the reason is I think that the body challenges for most riders' heights are going to be too significant to overcome.
Right.
That the bike and the bike is not going to feel as well. Right now, a lot of people will say a 27 and a half bike feels nimbler. Right.
Okay.
And if you have tighter, twistier trails, they kind of like the feel of a 27 and a half.
Okay.
Over a 29. The 29 has that better. It rolls over obstacles easier and so forth. It rolls a little better in that way, and it did seem to then be the sweet spot, which is why it really took over.
Mm-hmm.
And bikes were able to be adapted, and they came out for even very, very small riders.
Well, and you could have bikes for a while that did both with the flip
With the flip chip, yes.
You know,
Yep.
to show it wasn't that big of a difference between the two if you
Right.
could move a geometry just a little
Right.
bit.
I mean, things did change a little bit on the bike. The bike
Right.
felt different, but yes, you could do that. So But I think there are just more challenges going to 32-inch.
So maybe if you're not a racer and you're not being given bikes, don't be an early adopter.
For New England riding, I can't say this without having ridden one yet.
Yes.
But we have such tight single track with sudden abrupt up climbs and that kind of thing. So acceleration is on, off all the time.
Right.
And so that bigger wheel does not accelerate as quickly. And I just don't see it being the better wheel size.
Versus what is Cape Epic?
Because we also have lots of rocks and roots, which the 32-inch wheel would technically get over better.
What is Cape Epic?
Cape Epic is a stage race, a multi-day stage race in South Africa.
Okay.
It's considered one of the hardest mountain bike races, and it is a team event, so it's pairs.
Hardest because of the technical elements, hardest because it's a really long race.
It's just because it's a stage race. It's relentless, a day after day after day of hard riding.
Right, but is it super technical riding?
No.
Okay, so in that case, the larger wheels might have been an advantage because it's not like here in New England.
Right.
Okay, that's what I was getting to. All right.
So that's that.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't think I need to be an early adopter on this one. I wasn't on 29ers either. I hung on to my 27.5 pluses for quite a long time before you finally convinced me to try the 29. So, all right. Well, let's talk about group rides.
Group rides, okay.
So this is the time of year. Well, I mean, obviously spring, summer, you're going to be thinking about taking a group ride. And there's lots of different kinds of group rides as I was thinking about it, right? You have like the training rides I do with our PMC team. There's social rides like you might do on a Friday morning.
Right.
There's organized rides. And so it can be a little intimidating, I think, to go on a group ride or decide you're going to go to your first group ride. So we're gonna break down some of the things to look for, and I think we're gonna break it down into road rides and mountain bike rides.
Yeah,
and gravel will float somewhere in the middle.
Floats in the middle with, I suppose, a little aspects of both, right?
Right.
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start though. With some, I guess, regardless of type of ride, some things you should do for a group ride versus you and your buddy are just going out to ride. So number one. Be on time.
Be on time. So
not just be on time. Be early. There's like what time you should arrive versus what time. I have a friend who she'll tell you what time she expects us to have feet on pedals.
Yes. A group ride time is the ride time.
Okay.
It is, right? So that is when the group wants to leave. And many groups, if you are not there,
bye-bye.
No, it leaves if like the Friday morning ride, if it's 5:45 a.m., that is when the group leaves.
Right.
Yeah, if you're 30 seconds late, you're not
They're gone.
They're gone.
They're absolutely gone. Yeah, so I mean it's important that you,
even if you're 2 minutes early, you're not ready yet.
You
might get
risk
lucky.
It if people
A
are
couple
feeling
people might wait
kind.
for you.
Exactly. No, I think that's important because when you say, 5:30 ride, you really want to look at being there by 5:15. Make sure you have time to put your shoes on, get your gear together.
Plenty.
Yeah. The other thing is, maybe look at your bike before you get there, if you can.
Well, you obviously need to make sure your bike.
Not obviously.
Like,
how many rides have you gone? A group ride you've gone to? Somebody gets out of their car and like, oh my gosh, my wheel is flat. Oh, I don't seem to have any tubeless flat. Like, it's not obvious.
Okay,
you got to be organized.
You're right.
You're
right. It is not. Things happen on bikes, and you're right. But you do. So that is if it's a morning group ride, be prepared the night before.
You have finally learned this lesson.
Oh yeah, don't do what I do. Scramble around in the morning.
Scramble around at 4:45 trying to find your kit.
Get ready the night before.
Have you seen my jacket? Where is everything? But even the bike, like if you can put your bike, I'll put my bike in my car. Like I'll put the seats down.
If it's safe for you to do, then
and I'll put
and you
it
have to drive
in.
somewhere. Yep.
Yeah, I will just so it's one less thing I have to worry about. Make sure we do have one woman who will show up to our mountain bike rides, and she's wearing her helmet as she drives up, and she's like, it's the only way I can be assured that I remember my helmet. So, do whatever it takes. And then also, regardless of ride, you want to be you want to be fairly self-sufficient, right?
You do. And this is funny because you want to have the things that you need to be self-sufficient, even if you know you're going to be relying on other people.
Yeah.
So, so you basically want to be able to fix a flat, really.
Right. Want your flat stuff.
Right.
Want
and
hydration.
So even if you're a person who needs help fixing the flat, usually if you flatten a group ride, a couple people will stop with you.
Yeah.
And if you need help, that's fine. But you don't want to say, hey, do you have a tube that I can use? And do you have a pumper of CO2s?
Yeah. Right.
That will happen. That happens, but just try to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, I remember jumping onto a group ride. I was out by myself, and I went through a neighborhood, and there were some PMC riders, and they're like, oh, you should ride with us. And I was like, yeah, no problem. So I was riding with them, and one got a flat, and everybody had stuff. But it all just we all just stood there with it out in our hands until I said, but I can do this. But I had not done it before except at the shop. So, but I was proud of everybody had stuff. Like everyone had what they needed. The other thing is a bottle of water. And again, I know that seems obvious, but I have gone to rides where someone didn't bring hydration. They just didn't think we were going to be out there that long. Do I really need a water bottle? It's like you always need water. You always need water. You should always have a little snack because you just don't even know, your energy could plummet. Again, you might not think it's a long ride, but just bring a little snack.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Let's start with group rides. And when this came up, you said...
You mean road group rides?
Group rides. Okay. Sorry. Let's start with road group rides. When this came up, you were like, well, they got to make sure they know what they're in for. And why did you say that to me?
Did I say that?
Yes, you did. Because I think you were thinking of the Friday morning rides that we used to have at the coffee shop.
Yeah, but there's a lot of road group rides everywhere in the country and everywhere in the world, which are fast. We'll just put it that way. Spirited. Right?
Right.
And this is something, they can be incredibly fun and social and extremely good for like as a workout and your fitness and your cycling fitness overall.
Right.
But there is some like you have to learn how that group react and interacts with each other.
Yeah.
And how in general, well, every group is going to have their own little ins and outs.
Right.
Unique to them. And then on top of that, there are just the general rules of the road that you have to get used to.
Yeah. So I think the ride that you used to do, and I would come. I don't think since they moved from Pete's Coffee, I don't think it's quite had the big group that it used to have.
No, and it was every morning, although Friday was the biggest day.
Yeah, Friday morning, and I went with you a couple of times. So this was a organic group ride, right? It wasn't through a shop. It wasn't technically organized by anybody.
Right.
And you did need to, even though I was going with you, there was no like, okay, this is the route we're going to do, or this is how long it's going to be. It just was like, let's go. And then I remember we were riding and everyone's chatting, boop, 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 boop. And then we turned a corner and it's like, you all got like the dog whistle that said, go. And you were off. Which again, I had not been quite prepared for. And then it was Peloton, and then it was. So this is my way of saying maybe your first group ride should be a shop ride or a ride through like an organized group like the Charles River Wheelers. Because if you do an organized group ride, they're going to tell you.
Yeah, they're going to give you, I guess, some pointers.
No, they're going to tell you, okay, if you go to Landry's for a group ride.
Yes.
You're going to know. how many miles it's going to be.
Yeah.
You're going to know what the average pace is going to be. 1 chili, 2 chili, 3 chili, 4. They have a plan.
A little chili system.
They do, but you're going to know, it's average speed's going to be 13 miles per hour, right? You're going to know, is it drop or no drop?
It's a good point. That's a great one. So drop or no drop, that means if you fall off the back of the group, are they going to wait for you?
Are they going to wait for you?
Somebody going to wait for you.
Right. Exactly. Which I'm going to tell you on those Friday rides, they don't wait for you.
No, that's a drop ride.
I hope you know how to get back. Exactly. And even on the average miles per hour, I have to say, this is something, it's unique to road, right? We don't tend to talk about the average miles per hour with a mountain bike ride.
Right.
And what I find interesting is you got to ask, pause or no pause?
Right?
Because
yes.
Okay, because I had a group and they're like, we maintain an average speed of 15 miles per hour.
Right.
And one of our other friends was like, well, I can't go on that ride because that is way too fast for me. But I know that group and their Garmin's auto pause when they stop. Which means they're not really maintaining 15 miles an hour.
And usually, it's not even when they stop. It's like below 4 miles an hour. So it's that whole period coming to a stop as well.
Yes, they're actually average, because I've ridden with them, they're actually averaging more like 13 miles per hour, right? Which this person could manage because she didn't auto stop her Garmin.
Right.
So, but you would know that, again, like the
formal group rides give you an average pace. Yeah, they'll usually, and they'll break up. They'll often have different groups. This group, we're going to have an A group that's 18 to 20,
yes.
15 to 18, and then 12 to 15 type of thing.
Yeah, and they may even have like this. This is a group ride for beginners. Like we know our friend Nancy for many years, she may still do it, ran the beginner group ride for her local shop. To just teach them all the intricacies of a group road ride, which is different than riding your bike by yourself on the road, right? So we talked on a last show about, not the last show. We talked in the past on a show about bike skills, right? Underrated bike skills, and one of them being able to take your hands off of the handlebars so that you can take a drink and you can signal and you can point to things. Like those are essential during a group road ride.
I have had customers and seen people who can't drink while they're riding. They have to come to a stop so they can take their bottle out.
Right.
You're not prepared for really a group ride in that case.
You're not prepared for
a
group ride that's not going to stop. Exactly.
Yes.
Right? Like
not like say an organized ride where there's there's 500 people riding, but you could be by yourself or the next person in front of you is 50 feet and and you can just stop when you want to and then restart.
Yes.
Let's say it's a group of 20 people and this is a blob of 20, peloton of 20 that's not going to stop.
Right.
You have to be able to drink during
right.
that.
And you have to be able to point at things to tell them if there's like holes.
Pointing is
and like
so like the hand signals and the verbal signals are, if you do not know these, the way to really learn them is to I'm sure YouTube has great videos on this.
Yeah.
But then also being in a group ride to then learn that.
Right.
You are pointing down at holes, and when there's a hole, like a pothole, you yell hole.
Yes.
There's slowing hand signals, stopping hand signals. And so all of those are crucial when
Dead squirrel,
you're riding at 20 miles an hour,
glass.
inches from each other wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's, and you would know that again if you're doing a formal organized ride where they've told you some of these things, right? The average speed is going to be this, we don't stop, whatever, versus again more of a organic community ride.
Right.
Right. And I'm not saying there's anything. I love the community rides. I love the spirit of them. But but they are, because they're unorganized, right? There's no leader. There's nobody saying like, okay, guys, let's get started. Introduce everybody.
No, there's a start time.
Like it's literally
and there's a route.
just, yeah, there's a start time. There's a route, and we'll see all at the end. And there's a pace. Now, I will say one of the things in those more spicy rides, like that one we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
We've been talking about the Peloton and the pace line.
Mm-hmm.
And there's even a rhythm to that, right? Because you can end up in the line, you're in the line, and suddenly people start peeling off, and suddenly you're at the front of the line, and you're like, what happened there?
That's right. The spicy rides, you will have your leader, and you'll be doing turns out front. Right. And so you'll be in a pace line, and you don't have to spend, if you find yourself at the front, you can stay there as long as you want to.
Right.
And usually what people will do is they will go too long because they feel like they have to, and then they blow themselves up. And one of the hardest things, so when you peel off, and there's also a symbol for an elbow flick, as to say, I am moving over. It's the person behind you, you're taking over. And then you're coming down along the left side of the pace line. So you're trying to, they're going faster than you now.
Right. But
you have to latch onto the back.
Oh, it's hard.
And that can be hard. It's really hard. And if you happen to suddenly hit a hill after you've taken your turn up front, and you now have to latch onto the back, and the whole group just hit a little hill, boom, you could be gone.
You absolutely have experienced it.
The thing is that on these kind of group rides, if you detach from the group and they're gone, you see them at the end, and don't worry about it. And it could happen a lot. And then it'll be really rewarding that day that you stay with the group.
And this is where the importance of being self-sufficient is,
yes.
Right? Because they aren't, especially again, if it's a organic ride, right? You and I go to ride.
Mm-hmm.
If I get dropped, if I don't know how to get back,
right? That's a problem. You need to know where you're going.
So you either need to have a friend who says, we always do this route, I'll send it to you so you can put it on your Garmin, or just have a, navigate me back.
Yeah, or
to
mental knowledge
back.
of the route. So sometimes you can
some of us can't
look at a map and know by heart.
Exactly. So that's where, again, if it's a publicized, organized group ride, that's probably a little less likely to happen, because those are usually designed to be, if not no drop, will split the group, right? Like if
and sometimes there might even be a sweep.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Even on the road. So that's why I was saying, like, if you just haven't done a group road ride before, a beginner's one, something where somebody goes through the basics and you learn about, and I've done a couple of these over the years, help both as rider and helper. It's where I first heard somebody say, well, I can't point. I'm not going to point to things, because our ride leader was like, welcome to this ride, and this is what we're going to do, and don't forget to point to things. And one of the riders was like, I don't do that.
I don't do that?
Because I don't take my hands off the handlebars. Right. So, and you just probably didn't realize how important a skill that was until you're in an environment where you're shown it's not just... It's
so okay. So let's bring up
use for it.
Let's bring up one of the largest group rides in the country, organized ones, if we're going to call it that, and that is the Pan Mass Challenge.
Yes.
And I just had a customer come in the other day, and we were talking about that, and then we were talking about the unpaved gravel version.
Yes.
He might do that now, and then he said something to me, which is I hear frequently.
Yeah.
I don't like to do the summer Pan Mass anymore because those people scare me. And what he's saying is that for many of those riders who are casual riders, this is their only group ride outside of maybe a couple friends.
Hold on. Yeah, no, let's put it that way. As one who has ridden in that ride, right, in that group, and he's not wrong, right? It's a combination of more brains, less intelligence, which happens anytime you get too many people together, and a righteousness and happiness. We're out here riding
for cancer,
right? Like, I totally get it. And what happens, particularly at the start, is there's so many people leaving all at once, and they're all at different paces. And I'm sorry, there's no group ride that can get you ready to ride with that many people that close together. Some, they're trying to pace line right away. And you're like, guys, calm down. And they will jump onto the other side of the double line, which is crazy. But they want to get around.
Because these are open roads.
Yeah, because they're open roads. So it's a combination of factors that leads to some people leaving a little early from or leaving from their homes in Wellesley, right? And not going to the group start. Even if you ride regularly with 5 to 10 people, there's no way to prepare for riding with 5,000 people.
Well, there is. Because, again, this is the things we're talking about, though.
Because they...
Hand signals, retaining a predictable line, maintaining a predictable pace, no sudden braking, all that kind of stuff. So that's the way you prepare.
You know what the funny thing is?
Everybody does that. It works.
Okay, but everybody does it a little differently. Like, their pace is a little different. You know who I'm gonna say is some of the worst during a ride like that? It's the most experienced riders, because they're the ones who want to be in their pace line. They have no patience. The first year I did the PMC, I was on the rec path of the Cape Cod Rail Trail. I was by myself. There was someone handing out popsicles, right? So I swerved over to grab my popsicle.
Yes.
And then I came back. I was still in my lane.
Yes.
I was still not. And a pace line came flying past me on my left, yelling at me.
Yeah.
And would say, well, I didn't maintain a predictable... You saw the lady with the popsicle. We're on the rail trail.
And they were behind you.
And they were behind me.
I agree. And it's a rail trail.
But I'm going to say often it's the more experienced people... having no patience for, again, even someone who maybe they have ridden with a group and they're predictable in their way. They're going, but then there's another group and they're going a slightly different pace.
They're doing their own little group thing and not without realization, or I should say acceptance of the fact that they're surrounded by all these other new people.
Yeah, and who are also bobbling and so it is a tricky group ride.
That one year that I followed in the car.
Yes.
And I forget, I was coming down to get you, and I figured I would just sort of follow the route and do roadside assistance.
Yeah.
I think that's what I was doing, right?
Yep.
A guy in front of me just, like, everybody was making this sort of sweeping left-hand turn, and he just went straight into the woods. Like, straight into the woods.
No, I mean, I think the worst things I've ever seen on a group ride that big is the worst, really cringy, is the car swarm.
Yeah.
And the car swarm happens when, once again, we have all these riders coming. The roads are not closed, right? So you have a car waiting at a light, and the cyclists swarm it from both sides.
Yeah.
Which is totally unacceptable, right? That is totally illegal. It is totally unacceptable. It makes the driver angry and scared versus going single file on the right. It's just there's so many of them.
Yeah, but or stopping behind that car because then the light turns. You don't want to have the car repass you.
They absolutely.
So just let the car will go and you're going.
I'm gonna tell you, it is. Yeah, it's not. It's you kind of have to you defensively.
When there's a few of you, a lot of times you'll ride up on the line to the side of a car to a light. Right?
Yes.
But if there's 40 of you, you need to stop en masse behind the car, really.
Yeah, and they also don't. I don't want to.
Take over the lane.
These are all very good examples that we're talking about. It's not necessarily to criticize this ride, but like these are all very good examples of what happens in group rides too, right? Which is you are still required and I know you all have gotten in trouble for this. It's 2 abreast. It's not 5 abreast. I know but sometimes a group in the early morning is getting their speed on and they're very excited. And then suddenly your pace line is a blob.
Yeah. And
then they get pulled over
so
by the cops.
one of the things you yell is car back. And this is group dependent. This is who you're with and how they treat that.
Right.
So when we were riding, car back meant it was single file pace line.
Yes.
If it was in a casual area where we weren't really kind of doing that, and the road was wide enough and empty enough, like sort of 2 abreast would work. But basically, you are facilitating that car's pass. You don't want them hanging out behind you. You want them to get by you, so you don't have to worry about them.
Right.
Right. And so that's what but I've been in plenty of these big group rides, these organized events where you yell car back and everybody's like, la, 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 la. I'm going to hang out here in the middle of the road.
Okay. First of all,
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. The first year I did the PMC with my friend Nancy, she would yell car back and no one would move. And she just started yelling, FYI, you're going to die. She was like, I can't do this again. I need rules. But it doesn't even have to be in an organized ride. You have gotten in trouble for this. Early morning ride where y'all forgot there were rules to the road and you got pulled over by the cops.
Oh, no, that was not for not letting cars pass. That was so the final road, the final stretch before we go from all out to back to chit-chatting casual to the coffee shop. That's sort of the sign sprint line, right? And that is the final, and a few people went over the center line. That's when we got in trouble.
Yeah. Well,
jockeying for position.
Jockeying for position for a non-competitive.
Now at that point we're doing the speed limit, so we're not holding anybody up behind us. But
but you can get the 2 group rides that we have done. There are 2 rides that we have done in my 20 plus years of riding.
Mm-hmm.
They're both races that have had people die in them.
Yeah.
Is because they took a turn
and went across the line.
And ran into the front of
oncoming car.
A car that was just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
In both cases, I think the car was just sitting at the light.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the thing to be careful of. Definitely with some of these rides is that, that group think takes over, right? That, more brains, less intelligence.
Now we've given people horror stories about group rides.
So fun.
But
They're
hopefully
so fun.
Some of this discussion is sort of
I think
helpful in terms of what happens and what can go on and what to do and what not to do.
Right. I think the message is you should, if you're going to do a road group ride, maybe thinking about, and you've never done one before, maybe think about finding a beginner group ride that'll go through all the etiquette and all the skills. You can practice pace lining. That is something that takes some skill and some practice to get more and more comfortable. And you do have to be comfortable with the people you're riding with. And
you do. Yeah, whenever a new person would join the group or a couple new people, they that something shifted in the group there because they didn't quite have the predictability that everybody else knew from each other.
Yeah, because it takes. It
does. Group rides are a learning.
Yes.
It's something you learn and you work up to. In a way.
Yeah, and you want to be really careful, like in that pace lining, right? You're not you want to keep a close distance. You don't want to overlap the wheels.
You don't want to overlap the wheels, exactly.
Those are the things that take a little time to just learn your comfort with.
Mm-hmm.
And you may never be someone who's that comfortable being that close to somebody's tire, except for you. Like I will get super close to yours. I know your pace.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do it for a lot of people,
right?
And that's fine. It's not my deal. Yeah, I guess that's it on road. Now, mountain bike is both the same and different, right? So again, we have a group that rides on Friday nights.
Yep.
And I always get mixed messages out of them, which is everyone's welcome. Everybody knows where they are. And you're like, okay, one or the other, guys. Like,
it is
either
everybody, right? Everyone's welcome. Okay, but
you better keep up.
There's no known course. There's no known pace.
Right.
There's yes. So
you will be
and
dropped.
if you don't keep up,
you will get lost.
You will get dropped and lost if you don't know where you are, have a map, or what all that kind of stuff.
So
Absolutely.
This is where I'm going to say once again, your first mountain bike group ride
should be sort of an organized event.
Maybe do a semi-organized event.
Yeah, through
your
local mountain bike group.
What you're in for.
Right.
Because once again, what are they going to tell us?
More than not, a lot of organized mountain bike group rides will be no drop.
Exactly. Well, that's what I was going to say. So generally, when your local NEMBA group, your local
IMBA group or whatever,
IMBA group or your local shop does a organized group ride, they're going to tell you once again how many miles they think they're going to do. They're not going to say the average pace. They might say how long they expect it to take, right? And I think it is important to recognize that the bigger the group, the longer. A no-drop big group is going to take way longer than you doing the same exact ride on your own.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I had developed a formula for this.
Oh.
And it was basically, what you could expect for your average pace.
Yeah.
And there was a formula based on the number of riders and then what they would change for each additional rider. Because when it comes down to the larger the group in mountain bikes, the slower your average pace will be.
I think the trickiest bit about
because you regroup.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. As one who organizes mountain bike group rides, the trickiest bit is that's different than road riding is there's speed, which can equate to fitness, right? How fit you are as a rider, and then skills, right? How skilled you are as a rider. So you can have someone who's very skilled, but totally out of shape.
Right. You
can have someone who is newer, doesn't have great skills, but super strong, and those can balance different ways. And there have been attempts to say, this kind of ride is a intermediate skill and advanced fitness, and you need to be able to ride 2 to 3 hours. And I just find it's really hard. It's so much harder than on a road ride to say we're doing 25 miles at an average pace of 14 miles per hour.
It is.
But you know what I'm saying?
Now that varies around the country. It's super difficult here in New England.
Yes.
We can do courses that, you can ride quite fast, and then you could go places like we just rode today, which was 1,400 feet of climbing in 9 miles and quite very, very rocky, actually.
Yes.
Right. And your average pace just plummets in that.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes people just don't. I'm going to say I hear far more horror stories of shitty group rides, mountain bike related than road related, right? Like of people being like I went on the ride and I was having a hard time keeping up. Some dude told me I should get on the Peloton more, right? Like I've never had someone on a road ride say that.
Yeah, well,
to me.
you get the women's perspective a lot, and
yes,
But
again, I've never.
You're right. They have bad experiences.
But I've never heard it on a road ride. Like I've never had.
No,
if I don't keep up on a road ride, I just don't keep up.
Right.
Nobody's like, you should probably work out more, chickie.
Right.
So yeah. That's and it can often be, this is where we're going to talk a little bit about things leaders can do to make them better, but these can be on organized rides. It's the leader saying these things and you just want to bop them, right? I'm a little more forgiving on an organic ride. You just showed up, you don't really know what the pace is and you've been outpaced. Okay. There was nothing advertised, but if you go to a ride that says we are, we welcome newcomers and we welcome it to, and then someone says something stupid to you like that, you're like, you can't have both ways, guys. So yeah, so we've distance, feet, skills, how long the ride will take, no drop or drop. And as you said, most of the time.
Yeah, a mountain bike ride is by itself is going to be, a group ride is going to be a smaller group than road. Often.
Yes.
Often.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily, but often.
Absolutely.
And
I don't think like
there's no hand signals though in mountain bike. So you do not have to.
Yes, you can keep your hands on those all
right?
you want.
Now
still want to be able to drink water.
Right. So except there are a few things to yell out for.
Yes.
Low branch.
Oh.
Okay. So if anything, if somebody's could hit their head on something, you want to yell that out. And if people are running close to each other, it's actually can be surprisingly easy to suddenly come up on that, and you just can't see it with the person's in front of you blocking it. So, and you often have your head, even though you should have your head up, you have your head down a little bit more sometimes on mountain biking.
Yep.
And then the other thing would be,
I'm going to say hole.
Oh, well, if there's some
you don't have to point at it, but like there have been a couple where you're like,
bridges. I'd yell out bridges.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Huh. And the reason I do that is because they can have lips to get up onto the bridge, and wood can be slippery. So you
can get your wheel stuck in the back of it like you did today.
Is it necessary to yell out that a bridge is there? I don't. I just do it anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the low branch is the biggest one.
I mean, I think for the most part, most mountain bike rides, even if they don't say no drop, they intend to be no drop. But it's more of a like just keep up. Like even FNR, they'll have people will yell left, left turn, left turn, left turn, with the hope that everyone is close enough that they can hear you. They're not intentionally dropping you.
Correct.
Versus like a road ride. But certainly second rider drop and a sweep on a mountain bike is the best way to make sure everybody stays together.
Yep.
And I don't...
You want to explain real quick second rider drop?
Yes, second rider drop is when you have a leader and you have a sweep. So someone at the back who's going to herd us,
always be the back person.
Always be the back person, which for women's rides, I will say... You're going to say to her, keep on going. And she's going to say, nope, that's my job. And so basically when the leader comes into a turn where she thinks no one's going to see that she made the turn, she will ask the rider behind her to stop, make sure everybody gets through the turn, and then she will jump in right before the sweep. Mm-hmm. I will admit, I do not understand the hesitancy of some groups to do second rider drop. So when I ride with women,
it works fantastic.
Yeah, but even when it's just an organic ride, we just all gathered. Mm-hmm. We always say, well, who wants to be the sweep? Oh, I'll be the sweep. Great. But when I say it at like FNR, I'm like, do you want to do second rider drop? Nah, we don't need to do that. Why? What's the hesitancy?
I don't know, but we just have our vibe now, and that's what it is.
It's like you just don't. I'm gonna say it's always men.
Mm.
The women always. And when I ran,
organized number rides,
they're always second rider drop. Again, the value of going to an organized ride where the big difference between a organic ride and an organized ride is someone is taking a level of responsibility for the care and feeding of this group and making sure that it's successful.
Yeah.
Or at least they should. And if they're not, if somehow they're being douchey, then they should not be leading rides. It's not an organic ride masked as an organized ride, right? Like I really do believe when you sign up to be a leader or sweep, that is a big responsibility. And it's funny because I will have riders be like, I don't want to lead, but I'll totally sweep. And I'm like, the sweep is far bigger a responsibility, right? Because you are the one who's going to see if they crashed. I'm up front as the leader going, whoop, 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 here I am. Just hope everybody's back there. But
you got to fix the chains and fix the boo-boos?
Fix the chains. You get... you think I'm kidding, but when we had a rider break her shoulder, it was Leslie, my sweep, who had to catch that, where I was just in the front going, gosh, I wonder where they are. Right? So the sweep has a huge level of responsibility that I think it's funny that so often my riders be like, no, you lead. I'll sweep. And they also have to step in if the leader for some reason needs to bring somebody back,
Right.
They have to step in. So it's yeah. But I don't know why you guys fight it so much. It's weird. Because when we did, I led one of the rides. I think it was last year, the 50. Remember,
50K?
I was leading. We got back, and there were a couple guys with us, and one of them goes, "Gosh, that was the best group ride I have ever done." And I was like, because it was led by a mom. Okay.
Well done.
Thank you. Which brings me to some of the things what leaders can do to make, in particular, a mountain bike ride friendlier. Right? So what do we think some of those things are that we just talked about?
What the leader can do to make a mountain bike ride friendlier?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose put out just as free for all. How about that?
Okay, so I'm gonna say, put out a route
course
if you can.
Yeah,
and I get the organic rides; they're not going to, or even maybe just have some that say, "Hey, if you lose us, here are a couple of routes."
Well, some of those rides might always just do the same route.
That's true. I think a big thing that maybe gets lost is you can split a group, right? There can be times where like, look, this group is it's not big, not just big. It's like there's a clear division of speed or fitness or whatever.
Right.
And so assuming, again, you have someone who can lead, then splitting the group so that everyone is going at a pace can be really helpful. And don't be an asshole. That's all I'm saying. If you're doing don't be an asshole. But in particular, if you are the one who said, "Hey, let's do a ride. Let me lead a ride." Like that's a responsibility, whether you like it or not.
Yep.
But you should do group rides. They're super fun.
They are super fun.
They're super fun. And I will
cycling together is better.
It is. And I will put a shout out there to any of the women, like find a women's group and go for the ride. The number of women that we have in our women's groups before we started who had never done a group ride, mountain bike group ride, had only done a group ride with their partner, right? Which is fine, but it's just a different vibe.
Yep.
Or had done a group ride and had cried because the leader was a jerk or somebody else was a jerk.
Yep, you had
like
that.
Find your people because it really is awesome.
Yeah.
Really is. So anyway, anything else on group rides?
No, I think
we should go do some.
We should go do some. We have been so laggy in signing up for organized events this year.
We really have. What? Why? We are doing a cruise in the middle of the summer. That is a little disruptive.
It is a little
to our rhythm.
Yeah.
But yeah, we haven't really signed up for. Just haven't.
No, we should look on Bike Reg and see what's coming.
Anything. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Shall we?
We just do our local group rides, our normal weekly stuff.
Well, we should do that too. Okay. Hey, we got a voicemail.
All right.
So we're going to play this one from Jeff.
Jeff D. here. I'm a first-time waxer following the Silka protocol with all the gear. Would love to hear Steve's take on waxing versus wet lubes, immersion wax versus drip wax. I've had a fair bit of squeaking relatively early on in the wax cycle after maybe 20 miles. Not sure if that's something that's common or if I've done something wrong. But again, would love to hear the take of Steve the Bike Guy. Thank you.
Like first-time waxer. Long-time listener, first-time waxer.
Okay.
I was going to say something so inappropriate. Okay. Do you wax your chain? Do we wax our chains?
So this is an interesting question and take by Jeff. And I am actually an on and off waxer.
Wax on.
Wax
off. Wax on. Wax
right.
off.
My experience here actually is not extensive to answer this quite well, but let me talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
So I have tried the immersion wax a few times.
Let me ask. I think I need some information.
Sure.
Okay. So waxing versus wet lubes. So he's saying waxing versus a lubricant like we usually put on for
the kind of
like
thing
our
you would drip
normal
out of a
stuff.
bottle,
Okay.
basically. Yep.
Okay. And then wax, immersion versus drip. So he's talking about dropping it into a container of liquid wax.
Of liquid hot wax.
Sweet.
Yeah, so usually you can do this in a crock pot, and now companies are making what is basically a specialized crock pot.
Okay. Versus the drip wax, which we have tried.
Yes.
We do have some drip wax we've been using.
We do.
All right, now go.
Okay. And so I have done the immersion wax a few times.
Oh, see,
and it is, when you first do it, you have to completely strip the chain of its packaged lubricants.
Oh, that's right.
So every chain comes out of its plastic bag, its packaging, coated in a lubricant. And that's actually mainly to keep rust off of it.
Right.
As it's in transit and so forth. But it does work perfectly fine to start off as a chain lubricant when you get going. But you have to strip that off with degreasers before you can then dunk it into the wax, the hot wax. And as Jeff said here, I've had some squeaking, as he mentioned, I have some squeaking relatively early. I have encountered the same thing. I just didn't feel like it was more work for not enough lifespan on that wax.
I have a couple of more questions.
And then the thing is now, so there are what I'm going to call next generation drip waxes. So this is in a bottle, a squeeze bottle, like any old regular chain lube.
Okay.
And the ones in the past were not all that great. And I've been trying a bunch from multiple different brands as of recently to see if there's any that I particularly like.
Okay.
The new ceramic speed one, that one actually is there's so much wax dissolved into that. When you put that on, and they actually want you to do 2 applications on the top of the chain and 2 applications on the bottom of the chain. And it looks like it's been submerged and waxed. It is that coated and white and waxy. So you're almost seems like you're almost getting the benefits of an immersion wax with an easier application of a drip on. But I have been trying out so many of these.
So you don't think he's doing anything wrong? You've had the same situation.
Yeah, so I've had the same situation. So again, I want to keep trying. It could be what wax you're using, but I doubt it because, quite frankly, he has the Silka.
He's following the Silka protocol.
When he has the Silka melting system, he's probably using their wax.
He also seems like someone who follows all the instructions.
I
Probably
agree.
reads ahead of time and follows the instructions to the letter. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Oh, why? Okay. So waxing has been shown to be the best lubricant for a chain in terms of reduced friction, which means reduced watt lossage.
Oh.
So if you think about when a chain has to go around the chain rings and through the pulley wheels and everything, each link is bending over each other, right, around the pin. And so all of that is friction. And so that friction, you are losing watts that you're putting into the pedals through that friction.
Okay.
So a wax chain has been shown to have the lowest friction losses.
Okay.
At the same time, the way when you say a chain is stretched and it needs to get replaced, it is actually longer. It has stretched, if you will.
Yes.
But the metal hasn't stretched. The pins in each roller have gouged out those holes and elongated them, creating a longer chain overall.
Okay.
So wax has also been shown to significantly increase the lifespan of a chain because it doesn't collect grit, and it's the grit and the fine dust particles that get in there and that grinds away the metal and makes those holes bigger.
Is this special wax or is it like
wax? You can use.
Am I doing my candle
normal
wax?
paraffin wax. You can.
Oh,
people have done that. That's
nice
how it
vanilla
started.
Scented?
So, vanilla scented.
Somebody's behind me going, ooh, what
Maybe
does
this is a
that smell?
whole new product line for Yankee Candle.
Oh my God.
Right? Huh. There could be something there for them.
I love it.
But usually it's paraffin wax mixed with a couple other, what they're going to say, proprietary things to reduce friction.
Little lavender. Mm-hmm. Got it. Yeah. All right. So that's Jeff's question. I know there was one other thing you wanted to talk about, which was with SRAM.
Yes. Okay.
SRAM Eagle.
This is a good update for all the mountain bikers out there. All right.
Oh, the mountain bikers.
So SRAM has their current systems are called T-type or transmission.
Yes.
All right. So on the mechanical side, you have SRAM 70 and SRAM 90. Okay. Basically, same group sets. One's just a little lighter than the other. One uses more aluminum.
Okay.
Right.
Do the 70 and 90 actually mean anything, or are they
just arbitrary
numbers?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And then on the electronic side, you have GX, XO, and XX.
Yes.
Okay. So, but they're designated by T-type. Okay, all right. So, in the past, these are replacing their old Eagle drivetrain systems, and anything that SRAM called Eagle generally meant 1x12.
Yes.
And typically the 10 through 50 or 10 through 52, or in the lowest case of their cheapest cassette, 11 through 50.
Okay.
All right. So, but because all the bike makers are moving to T-type, they now realize they're making too many of these older Eagle derailleurs. So they needed to simplify it. Okay. So there was in the hierarchy of Eagle derailleurs, all right, and components, I should say, the whole group set. It was SX at the bottom, then NX, then GX, then XO1, then XX1. Okay?
Yep.
So those are gone, basically. All right. We just did a post about how SX was bad. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So they are replacing NX and SX with what's called S100.
Okay.
Okay. So there'll be S100 derailleurs and S100 cranks and S100 shifters, that kind of thing.
Okay.
They're replacing, now this is the big one. They're replacing GX, XO1, and XX1 with what's called S200. So if you have a high-end XX1 mechanical derailleur and you break it, if there's old stock, sure, but there will be no replacement for that. You have to get an S200. All right, and it's going to be just basically a GX level.
Okay.
And then for the Axis side, they're getting rid of GX, XO, and XX and replacing that with what's called S500. So, which is essentially also just the GX axis rear derailleur.
Okay.
Yep.
Are they still calling them Eagle?
No, they are not. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. They are. They are.
Yeah. I like you. I'm going to fly like an eagle on my mountain bike.
It is still Eagle. So direct mount derailleurs are called T-type, and the standard mount that go to a derailleur hanger they're still called Eagle. Yeah.
Oh, so transmission.
Yep.
Is direct
mount, right? You need a frame that has a universal derailleur hanger, a UDH, and that hanger comes off the frame, and the derailleur goes in where that hanger was.
Okay.
And with old Eagle, those bolt into the standard derailleur hanger, like they always did.
Wow, such a good name. And we even have the can up there with the cool Eagle, logo. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you for that update on SRAM. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we should wrap this up. Cycling Together with Kristin and Steve is a production of Steve the Bike Guy, a bike shop in eastern Massachusetts, and Sundin Marketing.
If you like the show, please leave a review or share with a friend. For show notes, links, or to leave a comment, question, or topic suggestion, visit cyclingtogether.bike.
You can follow the shop on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Steve the Bike Guy. I do like when the mechanics start arguing with each other.
Oh, yes, we have started quite a few arguments.
It's been really enjoyable.
Battles. Yeah.
Enjoyable, especially today when after getting yelled at for 2 weeks about how
Electronic shifting
was
useless and dumb.
Useless and dumb and overrated. Today we posted a video about how replacing the cables could improve mechanical shifting, and somebody replied,
"It's 2026. Go to electronic shifting."
You just can't win. Anyway, thanks for joining the ride.
All right, we'll see you next time.